edition. We're bringing you another edition of Tuffy Talk, and we're going to do something a little bit different on this episode. We're going to do a retrospect of Dave Doran's first year, kind of commemorating his second decade at NC State as the head football coach. So we kind of thought it'd be kind of neat to kind of look back and see what he started with and kind of where we've come from since then. So as always, we're joined by Michael and Macon. Let's get right into it, guys. So we're going to break this down, and we're going to look at the recruits. We're going to look at the offensive stats that year. We're going to look at the defensive stats that year. And then we'll just kind of go what happened with the schedule that year. So as I was going through this, and I got kind of the commits that happened that year, it's very interesting to see how different recruiting is now 10 years ago, right? Because, gone are the days of 20, we'll say 18 to 23 people in a recruiting class. So we'll start there. Kind of, what do you guys think about that? It's vastly different.
Yeah. I don't think you see, obviously the transfer portal is not as is way more significant, I should say, than it was before.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest difference. I don't know if there's other things with how timing works with some recruiting, but you're seeing a lot more influence even more so with social media kicking into things. Those are just a few things off my bat. I'm sure coaches could tell you a heck of a lot more things than I could, but those are just a few things off the top of my head.
For sure. Yeah, Michael, in that class, 23 enrollees. Like, I don't think you're ever going to see that many from a high school perspective again, unless obviously the rules could change. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look that way, at least for NC State. The last couple of years have been, I think, 16 or 17, and then like the 2021 class, I think, was 12. That was really small.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger schools, like if you look at the recruiting rankings, some of the top schools are still taking 20, 23, 25 man classes. But I'm sure even that'll change.
Yeah, just looking through this. So just kind of a really quick breakdown. We took one quarterback that year. We took 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 4 offensive line, 2 D line, 4 linebackers, 4 defensive backs, and 2 special teamers. So a very big class. Again, majority of the players were out in the state of North Carolina, with 9 of those players, and then 7 from Florida, and then there was a few others. Coincidentally, there was 2 from Michigan that year, so you don't really see a lot of Michigan kids coming this way. But
no.
But looking through, I'm not going to go through the whole list here. I'm just going to hit some notable names, folks that people will probably recognize. Matt Days was in that class. So a big producer. Josh Jones, who's now in the NFL. And then
I'm going. Hold there. I'm going to go with this.
Yeah.
So I counted 6 guys on this team, 5 maybe that are were in our current NFL players or legit had like a legit NFL career for a little bit there. Do you know who those guys were on that team?
So, I mean, I have the list in front of me, so I definitely would be cheating. But
okay, let's go with Michael then, because Michael, I'm curious if you can think of it. Anybody at the top of your head you might know.
Not from the recruiting class, or that was on the roster that year?
That was on the roster.
Oh, okay. You're doing recruiting.
Well, maybe I'm taking a step.
I don't know. I mean, not off the top of my head. No, I couldn't name it.
So,
because I'm trying to think, because we look at NC State, and that was one of Dave Doran's worst teams, we would say, ever.
Yeah.
Still a little bit of talent on there.
First year, yeah.
Right. So
I can tell you, just going off the recruiting list, you have 2 legitimate NFL guys. One started at State and didn't finish here. Any idea who that might be, Michael? That might be an easy one.
That was I know this one. Valdez Scantling.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
NC State great.
Yeah. And then Josh Jones, I would say he's had a pretty steady NFL career at safety. And then a couple of guys on here that had a cup of coffee, if you will.
Sure.
So, fringe.
Well, I would say I'm seeing here. You look at the 2013 roster, right?
No, I'm talking strictly from recruiting, just from a commit from that
standpoint.
Year.
I got you. Yeah, Valdez, Scantling, and the guy you said there. I'm blanking.
Josh Jones.
Josh Jones. Yeah, those are the only 2 I can think of.
Yeah. So who were the other ones that you have that weren't? So obviously you said 6. So four would have been already on the roster coming into that year with the 2 recruits that I mentioned. So who are the other ones?
So I would put, Josh Jones and Valdez Scantling.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett was on that team, apparently. I didn't remember that happening.
That must have been he transferred in. That must.
It says it online. I don't think that's right. I thought he was 14.
He's right. He's 14, yeah.
Because he is listed on the 2013 roster online.
Yeah.
On the official website.
On the Go Pack?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, I don't think that's right.
I don't think it's right either.
No, he was definitely not.
Let's look at his full bio. Let's look at his full bio here. It says,
no.
He was on the team. He says he was named the Wolfpack's Offensive Scout Team Player of the Year.
Yeah, so he was
sat out the season after transferring from
Florida.
Florida.
That's a sit-out season.
Oh, right, because
elected to serve on teams.
Old school transfer rules.
Rule. Yeah, to sit out. Yeah, so I guess he was technically.
That's the one difference there. So Jacoby was on the roster.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flightland's Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flightland's Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time wearing and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flightland's Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flightlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
So you had Jacoby Brissett on that team. You had, and remember, for those who forget, that was basically when he was at Florida, it came down to State and West Virginia. Mm-hmm. So there's that. There was Joe Tooney.
Yeah.
Joe Tooney's on that roster.
3-time Super Bowl champ.
Yep. And kind of
Justin Burris.
Burris was one of them. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to scroll through here because I was trying. I just looked this up and I forgot the other guys. Burris and
I feel like Gerard Fernandez had a little bit of time in the NFL.
Well, I'm also say I thought Greenidge did for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Greenidge did for like a second. I thought.
And then you had Farrow. He was in there.
I know the other one. You said Farrow McKeever.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Ty. Ty's on this team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was still in the league last year.
I know.
Yeah.
I think he's in the league this year now. I think he's just kind of making his rounds a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's some players on this team, but you look at the kind of talent State can put out now. I mean, it's so different. This team. I'm trying to look at what would you guys have any thoughts about?
We missed another one, by the way.
I did.
Yeah, Dante Johnson.
Jeez, there are so many people on this team. Wow.
And then Jack Tocho was in the league for about a year or two.
Dante Johnson was on this team.
Yeah. I feel like Gavin Locklear was in the NFL for a minute too.
He may have been.
I'm just thinking like guys who had legit careers. Dante Johnson, Joe Tooney, Marquez Valdez Scantling,
T.Y.
McGill. There's another one I think I had there and Jacoby.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the 6 I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. Did you look? I mean, I'm looking back at that schedule. I mean, we didn't win a single ACC game that year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's look at the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that was a year where we struggled to beat Richmond.
Yeah, who was? Well, I guess they're still not Division I in football, are they?
Yeah, Louisiana Tech whooped them.
I don't remember.
And this is when they had the campaign. Was this the campaign year they had the "This Is Our State" year?
It may have been.
I'm looking at the schedule. It says Louisiana Tech. That was the theme that game was "This Is Our State Day."
Yeah,
that's so.
That was
stupid.
tough.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Yeah, I don't think you go with that slogan your coach's first year. Like maybe now you could do that. But
especially with the amount of teams, I always hated that from the time they announced it because the amount of teams in North Carolina, you're going to lose against other North Carolina teams and they're just going to throw it back in your face. Like if there's only like maybe 2 schools in a state and you dominate the rivalry, I would like that. But
why do I also feel like this was the year that we pretended we were ECU and did the whole state outline and put the wolf on it?
That went with "This Is Our State."
Yeah, that was the year that we did that. We couldn't come up with our original idea.
Dumb idea.
Yeah. But here we can let's go through the schedule here.
It's not much to go through.
Well, yeah. But
I mean, what's the best win? Louisiana Tech,
Louisiana
Richmond,
Tech,
or
40 to
Central
14.
Michigan?
Hey, that
I think
Dorn
I
probably
think that's
looked
the
like
one,
the
right?
greatest coach out there. Starting off, first
Was that
game,
Pat
40 to
Thomas?
14. For who?
Pete Thomas. Pete Thomas. And it had been Brandon Mitchell came out and he started and he looked. I remember watching it and thinking the first drive or two, like, holy cow, we look amazing.
Yeah. No,
I don't know if you remember that,
too.
but I was a student there my junior year, and I was like, we look awesome. And then, flatline, right? The whole rest of the season.
Yeah. That's funny. We were talking about transfer portal, and we had 2 transfers starting.
Was this
that
Harrison
year.
Beck that year too, or
No? That was after him.
Was it after him?
It was
Okay.
Brandon Mitchell, Pete Thomas. So Brandon Mitchell was a transfer from Arkansas, I think.
So I remember the offensive line coach was Urimovich. You had who was the wide receivers coach? What was the guy's name?
I don't remember.
Leighton could tell you because Leighton was on the roster.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do Leighton justice.
Well, yeah, I know. He'd be disappointed.
Clayton White was on the team. I think he was a safeties coach. Receivers coach was
Matt Canada.
He went to Temple. He went to Temple after that. I can't remember the guy's name. Golly. Okay, let's look at NC State football.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
But I believe Matt Canada was offensive coordinator that year.
Yeah, I think he was too. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right there.
It's crazy. He had his career path too.
I'm going to see this name. I'm going to be so disappointed in myself because I know this name. We're going to move on because I'm going to blank. I'm just blanking.
Yeah,
here.
Huxtable was the D coordinator. That's as far as I'm finding as far as coaches.
Yeah, and I think Canada was the
he was
offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But yeah, the quarterbacks that year, I think, Brandon Mitchell. Now I don't remember. Did Brandon Mitchell start? He started that first game, like you said. Did he get hurt? Or did they bench it?
I think he got hurt.
Yeah.
I think he got hurt.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It was
I
like it's like. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I got all the coaches. I found it. Eddie
Who was
Faulkner was the
Titans
fullbacks and co-coordinator.
Yep.
Frisman Jackson is your wide receiver.
Frisman Jackson. That's
the
who it
great
was.
Frisman Jackson.
How could you forget?
I don't think Leighton liked that guy very much. I don't know. I forgot what happened. Urimovich was the O-line coach. I don't know why I remember him. Des Kitchings was your running back coach.
Yep.
So Huxtable handled linebackers. I mentioned Clayton White was your safeties coach.
Yep.
Your corner coach.
I got it right here if you need it.
Ryan Nielsen, was he not the D-line
Yes, he
coach?
was the D-line coach, yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to just cover it. And the CB coach.
Richard McNutt.
That was my next guess.
Yeah, so close.
I don't remember that name, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so you had Ryan Nielsen.
Where are those guys now? Like Matt Canada and Ryan Nielsen.
Well, they're coordinators in the NFL now.
Matt Canada's still with the Steelers, yeah.
Yep. And then Nielsen is the D coordinator at the Saints.
Yeah.
Where did Dave Huxtable end up?
I think he pretty much was done.
He bounced around. Last job, I think he was a analyst.
That's what I was going to say. He's
Alabama.
So now I just looked at Atlanta Falcons hired him as a senior defensive assistant. So he's with the Atlanta Falcons.
That just means you're old.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, Wolfpack Nation. So unfortunately, we completely forgot to pause and end part 1, but don't worry, we will pick up our conversation in part 2. So with that being said, just as a reminder, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever we release any new NC State content, and you'll be notified on all your devices. And if you enjoyed this conversation, hit that like button and give us a follow. Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter or Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us, and as always, go Pack, y'all.